Hello, everybody. This is Doug Robbins, and welcome to Doug's Thoughts, a podcast by a creative writer for creative writers. I wanted to get on here and talk about Halloween, and I'd started another video that was just horrible. I'm going to delete it because it sucked and it was just going off on a tangent. There's so much crammed in my mind to say about Halloween Ends, but basically, Halloween Ends is not a horror movie, and it's not a Halloween movie. Okay? Because to be a horror movie, it has to be scary. And Halloween Ends is not scary in the fucking slightest. Now, again, when I'm talking to my brother and he was talking about, when Michael's on screen, like his presence, yeah, it's creepy. But it's not enough, and it does not deliver on the premise, of a Halloween film. I don't give a fuck if evil changes shape is one thing you want to do, because you know what evil changes shape means to me? That means we keep Corey alive so he can go be the new Michael Myers. That's what evil changes shape would mean to me. It would make fucking sense. Not just, evil changes shape, that just means we're not going to use much of Michael and just Corey. What? You know what I mean? No, that's a horrible fucking premise and stupid as all hell. What did Halloween Ends do? Why is it a drama? Why did it not deliver on the premise? Michael Myers looked weak as fuck. He was barely there. He's getting beat up by Corey Cunningham. Now let's say, okay, David Gordon Green's like, dude, fix my broken movie, because I didn't give a shit and I think I was just tired of making it. Personally, is how it comes off. You're a Halloween fan. You actually would give a fuck about this. Tell me, baby, where did I go wrong? Sinead O'Connor for all y'all out there. But I'll tell you. You've got to introduce Michael quicker. Michael has to be strong. Now, if you want to play with older and weakened, my God, there's a simple fix. Michael Myers can will himself weak. Or at the very least, if you do want to say, well, he's really fucked up by Halloween Kills, okay. Okay, I don't like that. I would much rather Michael be able to will himself weak, will himself, because I want to give, more powers to Michael Myers than less. But if you want to make it more semi-human, fine. Weak comparatively speaking to who Michael Myers is. You know what I mean? Not a weak old man. Or at the very least, again, I keep going back to it, but let's say David Gordon Green says, okay, just add one element to my story. And basically to qualify what you did and to say, okay, have some kind of explanation that Michael Myers it was the fear and the paranoia that gave Michael Myers so much strength. And that fear and that paranoia, and now you saw when he actually just comes off a lot easier to defeat, thanks to Corey, thanks to Allison and Lori. You were giving this guy too much credit, too much power. He's just an old man now, yada, yada, yada. That would at least, like, it would still piss off people. But to me, because I'm like, folks, if this is the bullshit you're going with, you kind of got to apologize to the fans. Because what this feels like is a very pretentious, like anybody that's been to college and a creative writing workshop in college, there's this weird blend of fear to write anything because of judgment and focusing on stupid shit that doesn't matter and really wanting to amplify that up and so afraid of cliches that you get stupid shit like this that it's not that it may, you could argue this one was a smart Halloween movie and it did all that, and that's fine. It just didn't give us the premise. Michael is strong. Michael's the killer. And again, if you want a copycat killer, that's fine. You know what I mean? That is a cool idea. Um, because again, you could go like Scream. There's murders that keep happening. You don't know who's doing it. And then it's revealed maybe midway, which, by the way, I think Michael was about 40 minutes in. But right before Michael, it's revealed, oh shit, Corey's been doing this. And then any Goosebumps fans out there might remember the episode Night of the Living Dummy 3, where Zane was doing all the pranks that you would figure were slapping. And then once it's revealed Corey's killed these kids, he's killed the bullies, because we don't need to spend so much time on the romance with Allison and Corey, because what that promised, okay, Allison is about to break her cycle of meeting toxic men. Cameron was a piece of shit. Corey, seemingly sweet kid, has a lot of trauma like her. But guess what? He's yelling at her after. He's like, "What the fuck did you after that bitch, Mrs. Allen, that fucking hateful, ugly ass cunt, going off on him in the bar." He's got the trauma with his mom and shit. He's got the trauma with the bullies. And again, anybody knows anything about serial killers, they are drawn to that darkness. You know what I'm saying? They are drawn to that darkness. And there's a lot of natural darkness in a serial killer's life. Michael Myers, or excuse me, you think of any serial killer, I mean, what? Wife cheated on me, or I was jealous. My dad was a religious zealot, used to beat the shit out of me. My wife's fucking around. You know what I mean? Like, darkness. I used to skin cats, blah, blah, blah. All this shit. Well, guess what? Corey kills his bullies. Okay. Because that's who we need to see him kill. You do that maybe 20 minutes in, and you can either play with it where, yes, we know it's Corey, or it's like a big scream reveal, of like, oh my God, they pull off the mask and it's Corey. And Allison, of course, feels betrayed. Like, what the fuck, dude? You're a psycho. Like, I trusted you. Of course, Laurie'd be like, yep, we got to stop him. And then here comes Michael, attracted to that darkness, who maybe he was a little weakened and tried to attack either Laurie or Allison or even fucking Corey, and maybe nobody believed him. I don't know why they wouldn't, but you could do that. But he's too weak. But we see Michael Myers getting progressively stronger so that by the time he's actually on screen, because you got to show little glimpses. You can't just hear suddenly Mike, because like my dad said when he was watching Halloween Ends, he's like, by the time he got on screen, I quit giving a shit. 40 minutes, it's too long. You forget you're watching a slasher movie. Because it would have to be super, and I mean super interesting dialogue, super interesting storytelling that they don't have. Like these characters, Loomis was always the most interesting non serial killer in the Halloween movies. This Ahab that's chasing his white whale that knows this is the curse at Haddonfield. Maybe nobody knows how to stop him, but I've got to try. That with Loomis, you know what I mean? Goddamn. That's Halloween. And again, Laurie, she's popped her wad emotionally uh, in this trilogy because, again, when she's holding hands with Karen, love you, baby, after their whole life of turmoil and shitting on her mom and them being at odds. Guess what? Reuniting. That was sweet. Halloween Kills, they're in the hospital. She kills, or Michael kills Karen. And right, you see kind of a little bit at the end of a Laurie, like, all right, you son of a bitch. You killed my daughter. And I know in the end, it's like, well, I don't want to, live my life in fear. Well, again, fine, but you would have to go on one of the other elements of let's give the boogeyman less power. Quit fueling him so that he can be weaker, but Michael Myers weaker. You know what I mean? Like, okay. Let's say Michael Myers is the Incredible Hulk, but his weekend would be okay. Let's say Michael is as strong as the Avengers Hulk. Michael Myers' weekend would be the TV series Lou Ferrigno week. Still by no means weak, but weak in Michael Myers terms because he's the strongest human being. You know what I mean? And weak, but still serving enough of a threat. And again, man, off the top of my head, I'm seeing Michael. Maybe he drops his knife for a minute. He has to stagger back, and not runs off, but he somehow leaves the scene because he can vanish like that. And